Hi boys and girls, happy Friday. I'm going to read you a story from this big book, and bear with me because this is a big book and it's kind of hard to turn the pages. I don't have an easel here. I should have read this one from school the other day when I was there. Okay, this book is called City Cat, Country Cat, and it is a fable, and it is like another story that I know called City Mouse, Country Mouse. Now, your moms and dads probably know the city mouse, country mouse, and maybe your Grammys and grandpas. That story's been around a long time. This is the first time ever I've read this story. City cat, country cat. It is about two cats who are brother and sister. Now, before we even start the story, it has a couple pictures to tell us about the characters. The characters are, who is the story about? The story is about Duncan and Daria. This is Duncan, this is the brother, and this is Daria. This is the sister, okay? And it also wants us to know where the story is going to take place. Part of the story is going to take place in the city, and part of the story is going to take place in the country, okay? So here we go. Like I said, I'm going to have to do one page at a time because the book is so big. Once there were two cats, Duncan and Daria. They were brother and sister. Here they are when they're little kittens and they're playing together. Looks like they love each other. When they were little, Daria went to live in a big city. Duncan went to live in a small town. They missed each other very much. So here's Daria. The girl cat is going in the car to live in the city. And here's Duncan. He's going in a truck to live out in the country or in a small town. So they're opposites, right? One day, Daria decided to go visit Duncan. Cats have a good sense of smell. Daria was not far from the city when her quivering nose smelled a sweet smell. She knew Duncan was near. So Daria is going from the city out to the country. Okay, and she's walking the whole way. Wow, huh? They were so happy to see each other. Let me show you my community, Duncan said to Daria. He was very proud of his town. So this town doesn't look that small to me, but it's much smaller than a city. Do you see the animals? You see the farms and the animals, and the houses are kind of spread out. So it's kind of a small town. Duncan showed Daria the school. There it is. Then he showed her the hospital. Duncan and Daria walked by the store where people shopped and the different houses where people, cats, and dogs live. Isn't this a great place? Exclaimed Duncan. I just love it here. Do you think Daria is going to like where Duncan lives out in the country? Daria shook her head. But everything is so small and it's too quiet around here. You have to come see where I live. That is the real community. Duncan followed Daria back to the city. So now they're both going to go explore the city. As soon as he got to the city, Duncan wanted to go home. The buildings were so tall and there were so many loud, noisy people. It was so noisy that Daria had to shout so Duncan couldn't hear her. So I know that's kind of hard to see these pictures, guys, because the book is so big. But we'll just do the best we can. It's a great story. Daria showed Duncan a school. This is only one of the schools in my city, she told him. We have many schools. Then she showed him a hospital. This is only one of the many hospitals in my city, she said. So look at how busy. Everything is very busy and very big in the city, right? Daria showed him some of the many apartment buildings where people lived. She also showed him many stores. Isn't this a great community? Exclaimed Daria. I love it here. So Daria loves the city, and Duncan loves the country or the small town where he lives, right? Okay, Duncan was trembling, but everything's so big there, and it's so noisy. Oh, look at that. That's not a very good place for cats to be, huh? They have to be so careful of all those people and all those cars. Yes, agreed Daria, but every sound tells me something new. It gives me a headache, Duncan said. I'm sorry, Daria said. Then she nuzzled him and made him feel safe. They kind of went to a park. I think they found a safe place to be together, right? Okay, hang on, you guys. Let me show you how to get back to your town, Daria offered. So they're going to walk back. She's going to say, well, you can go all the way back to your small town in the country where you like it. When they reached the edge of the city, Duncan said to his sister, I'm glad you are so happy in your community, and I'm glad that you're so happy in your community, Daria replied. If you ever need some quiet, come visit me, Duncan said. Duncan says, if you get tired of the city, come to the country. And if you ever want some excitement, come visit me, said Daria. Look at the city. They're having some kind of a celebration. Almost done, boys and girls. So Duncan and Daria went back to their communities, and each was happy that the other one was happy. So there's Duncan. Here's Duncan. He's in the small town in the country. Okay, see the cow and the goat there? And here's Daria. She's in the city with all the tall buildings, and she's very happy. Okay? And that is the end. So boys and girls, do you think Duncan will ever want to move to the city? I don't think so. Do you think Daria would ever want to move to the country? I don't think so, but it's always nice. You know what we people say? Sometimes like when I go back home and I see the snow, it's a nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live here. When I go visit people in the city, I like it, but there's a lot of traffic and it's really, really busy. So I kind of like living where I live where it's a little quieter, right? So that was our story, and we're going to do some pages in our Nat Geo workbook, okay? I want to ask you guys a question. Would you rather live in the city or in the country? Put your thumbs up if you'd rather live in the city where there's lots of tall buildings and lots of traffic and lots of stores and lots of things to do. Okay, put your thumbs up if you'd rather live in a small town or in the country. I would say that Canyon Lake, Lake Elsinore, and Tuscany Hills, it's small. It's not as big as Los Angeles or San Diego, right? Do you guys like where you live? Thumbs up. Okay, me too. I do like to go to the city. I like to go to the theater. I like to go to the shows. I like to go to concerts, but I actually like living in a small town better. Okay, so what we're going to do on the first page right here on page, this is a new unit, everybody. We're in a new unit about communities. Got lots of good stories about communities. So it's unit 6, page 5. We're going to read the sentences and we're going to practice our new sight word, have. Okay, I'm not going to spend too much time, so I'm going to get my highlighter, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read these sentences. Now, some of you guys have been sending me videos. I love it. I got a little bit behind watching those, but I'm going to get caught up soon. All right, so I'm going to read it. Okay, have, I see it. Look at the picture. Okay, there's a sign. The little boy sees a sign, and it says lost puppy. I look for him here. Those are all sight words except for him, and that one you can sound out. So he's going to the park. So it must be his lost puppy. He lost his puppy, so he put a sign up on the tree. He's going to go look in the park. Look, you guys. I see him. I see him. He sees the puppy in the park. I have him. See the exclamation mark? He's so excited because he found his puppy in the park, right? And there he is. Okay, that's all you have to do. You can color the page if you want to, but that's just a reading page. Now, on the back of it is a page that goes along with the story I just read. City Cat, Country Cat. Was that what it was called? Yep, City Cat, Country Cat. Sorry about that. Okay, what they want to do is they want you to retell the story. If I was going to retell the story without looking at the book, you need to tell a little bit about the beginning, a little bit about the middle, and a little bit about the end. So I'm going to get my pencil, and the beginning of the story, what happens? They were born from the same mommy, right? So they were born together, but then they had to go live in separate places, didn't they? Okay, so I think at the beginning of the story, they were happy, they were together. They're going to do 2 cats, they were together, and I'm going to make, Daria had that bow on, remember? She had the bow on, the ribbon. And Duncan, here I'll make Duncan like this. 2 cats came from the same mommy, the same litter, but then they were separated, weren't they? That's what happens at the beginning of the story. All right, okay, so I'm gonna write their names. You don't have to do that, but this is Daria and this is Duncan. And they love each other. They're brother and sister. I'm going to put some hearts around it to show that they love each other. Okay, something that happened in the middle of the story. They went to visit each other, didn't they? So I'm going to go like this. Well, here, let's do this. Daria lives in the city. And Duncan lives in the country. And they go visit each other. So in the city, you have tall buildings. I got that wrong. They go to the country first, don't they? But that's okay. All right, there's lots of buildings. There's lots of traffic. There's what they call skyscrapers, tall buildings, apartments, lots of stores. I'm going to fix this up a little bit better later, okay? I got some tall buildings in here, okay? Now, in the country, there was lots of animals. There were lots of farms. So I might draw just maybe a small little house, okay? And maybe a fence and maybe some farmland and some animals. I'll put a sun up here, okay? And then they went to visit each other, didn't they? Okay? And then in the end, that was at the beginning. In the middle of the story, they went to visit each other. I'll fix this up a little bit later because it takes too long for me to put everything. This is the country. This is the city. In the end, did Daria change her mind? Did she want to go live with Duncan in their country? No. Did Duncan change his mind? Did he want to go to the city to live with Daria? No. They decided that they wanted to go back and live where they liked living. So Duncan goes back to the country. So I'm going to draw a Duncan back in the country, and then Daria goes back to live in the city. In that picture, she was looking at a big window. She was like sitting on the top of a couch or something, and she was peeking out the window. And I might have to draw that later too. Okay, yours doesn't have to be just like mine. All right, you can make your own. Just draw something that happened at the beginning and the middle and the end. So here's Daria. She's sitting on the couch in her big fancy apartment, and she's looking out the window, and what she sees is the city. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw the city here, and then I'm gonna draw a picture of Duncan, and he's in the country, okay? So they decide that they like to stay where they're at, but they can always go visit each other, right? All right, now we're gonna I know that took a long time, but I could have said let's skip that page, but it was a good story, and those are comprehension, and we need to do those. All right, now really quick, this one won't take very long. On Zoom, yesterday, we did some of these words that have E in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and just go over. Let's start with this one. Remember pen? When we sound out the word pen? P-N, pen. Okay, what if I change that P to a T? Then what would it be? It would be T-N, 10. Okay, let's do bed now. Bed would start with a B, and then we have a in the middle, and then we have D, B-ed, bed. What if I change this and put an R there? I don't have the R with me, but R-E-D, red. There you go. Now, we didn't do all of them, but I think that's enough for a start. Blend words with E. The first one is P-N. I see the pen right there. Oh, we did this one yesterday, too. We did that one on the video. L-E-G, leg, leg. It kind of looks like egg, but it's leg. Okay, let's sound out this one. Net. Hey, we did this one yesterday too, didn't we? Net. I think we did them all. I see the net. You use a net to catch your fish or your butterfly or whatever you're trying to catch. Okay, here's T-N. 10, the number 10. I'm going to draw a line to this. And the last one is B-ed. Bed. Okay, that was 3 pages. I don't want you to do what's on the back of this page, because guess what? We have to read another story, and that's just actually the next page. We're going to have to do another lesson, and it's just too much to do in one day. That was already 14 minutes. So, okay, good luck with your reading pages today. 3 pages in your Nat Geo workbook. All right, bye-bye. Have a nice weekend, boys and girls.